Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So, no insights for today's reading. I was just sitting around trying to waste time before I had to go to work. And I was like, hey, why don't we just make another video? So, we're using the Sacred Spirit cards because I don't have too much time, but I wanted a story that could be quick. So that's my intention. A quick message today. I'm hearing the Willy Wonka song about imagination. Okay. All right. I'm getting there's something to do with the third eye. Okay, let me show you what I got. So the first one to come out is open intuition. And he's got third eyes. He's got eyes on his hands. There's an eye on his heart. Something to do with that. And then the next one is guardian with guard your energy. And the main thing that stands out from this is the red or orange moon. And then from the next one, we have Kundalini Rising. And that's where I'm seeing like the orange. Like there's a significant, and these are all like little eyes, it almost looks like. So a couple days ago, we talked about Kundalini Rising. It had a lot to do with solar plexus energy. And yeah. Okay. So I was thinking about, like, I shared one day I didn't do a video, and I was kind of going through the ringer, actually, energetically. I even had to like call in sick for work, which is funny because coming up a couple weeks to that, I had just randomly people coming and be like, can I please have your shift? Like, hey, do you want to trade the weekend so I could have this day of your shift? And I was like, no, like, why would I want to work on the weekend? And why I don't want to give up this shift. And then another person came and was like, can I please have your shift on this day? And I was like, no, like I like my shifts. Like that's my shift. That's my scheduled time. I'm going to do it. But I see now in hindsight that it was kind of like Spirit's way of like knowing that this energetic Kundalini Rising was going to happen. And so a little bit of my experience. We're going to get to these cards, but I just want to share a little bit of my story because I feel that's what they want me to share. So how can I explain it? It was like a dark night of the soul, but energetically. And so there's times in your life where when it comes to like 5D to 3D, the 5D kind of moves way faster, right? It starts in the 5D and then it kind of manifests to the 3D. So that's why it's so important to like have faith and trust and believe that things are working out for you. Because it's like the more you hold that energy or that thought and that feeling, the emotional feeling to it, the quicker it could kind of manifest in the 3D. But there's times where I've gone through this cycle a couple times. And like, that's why like at work, they're like, well, what's wrong with you? And I was like, if only I could tell you. But I knew that it was a soul healing. So whatever happened physical is more of like the 5D trickle down to the 3D. And all of a sudden I just had all this stomach pain. And this stomach pain just wouldn't go away. I could go to work some days and like mind over matter and like get through it. But then eventually it was just like, I needed to stop. And so that's why I focused on the solar plexus reading on one of them. I was like, tell me something about the solar plexus. Like, it just happened that the Kundalini one was the day before. And I'm like, we talk about all the chakras, right? But we don't talk about the solar plexus much. And in it said about people, how you take people's energy. So what I'm finding is in my past, I hung around with like really dark people. So when I say like I'm light and dark and like all that, like I can hold my own in a very toxic environment, right? And when I talk about boundaries and those things, like it's all been learned by example. And so I'm not quite in a dark environment anymore. I'm thankful for that person because they really made me stand up for what I believe in, because man, did they challenge me. They fought me at everything. And there's a part of me, I had this moment where at the beginning, when I met this person, there was a thing that happened, and it was uncalled for. It was very unjustified on my end, but I was like, it's okay. But what this person did was so mean and manipulative that it's just kind of interesting, because I saw myself as, at the beginning, as very light, right? I didn't really incorporate the shadow side. I didn't really talk much about the dark demon type energy until I met them. And it's great. I'm so thankful to have met them, but because they taught me, like, I don't have fear. I'm very like confident now. And I guess that's the thing that lacked before, was this self-confidence. So because of them, I have self-confidence. But anyways, back at this moment, this was their energy. They had this thing going on, and they would say words, and it was like a cycle or a pattern. And they'd fight with me. And then we get through that fight, and that fight would heal, and we'd move on. But then, like, fast forward like years later, I was brought to another fight that we had, and the roles had reversed. So the things that they used to say, I found myself was now saying. It's almost like I really went dark. I really did. Because it's like fighting your shadow self. And so, right, I integrated that shadow, did so much shadow healing. That's why we talk about it so much. But so back to this solar plexus thing. So they showed me the body and how the 5D is already manifested into something. And the physical body itself and how the physical body on the 3D, they didn't align. So they almost showed me like the light and the dark. And sometimes we hold on to dark, and we need to let that go. It's almost like this old belief of ourselves in the past saved us. It was great in that moment, but we have to let it go because we aren't in that same frequency where we need that protection. So what they kind of showed me energetically in that day that I went through, it was almost like a shredder. It was like taking the soul. They kept showing me the soul going through this like metaphoric shredder. And in this shredder, you know how you get all those millions of pieces? They would show that some would be light, some would be dark. And that they just kept like sorting and reorganizing these pieces. And it was almost like a contract being shredded up. And so there was this darkness that just wasn't necessary anymore. It's like you've learned the lesson, but you don't have to carry that heaviness anymore, because the body going forward into the next change. And I always feel when a huge shift is coming, like when you know that your life is going to change, that physically you aren't going to be the same person ever again. And that's kind of what that moment was. And so coming up to it, I just found I was so sensitive. I couldn't be around other people's energy. I needed a lot of quiet time. And that's when I realized where I am, I don't really get my own space, my own quiet time. And at my job, I deal with so many people. Like even yesterday was a slow day, and I think I dealt with 41 people, which is a lot of people's energy to take on every day. So I just couldn't go to work. So Spirit, it's almost like they knew that this was coming, and they tried to like set it up for me to not have to call in sick. But stubborn me is like, I'm gonna go work, I'm gonna push through. And so that's what I kind of felt with this solar plexus healing, is like there is a part when it comes to the shadow side that we get very, very comfortable with our shadow side. But you're going to grow, and you're going to change, and you're going to evolve as a person. And there is a time that you're going to have to let go of that protectiveness. And so that's kind of what I went through. And and it's like when you go through a situation in healing, right? A lot of the times you just want to like face it so quick, and you're like, I'm just going to deal with it. Well, healing happens in layers, they say. So there's things about this that I thought I healed. And it would be like an onion almost, or something, a flower, something, just layer by layer. And you would like take that layer away. And you think that it gets easier and easier, but they showed me that it's actually opposite. It's like in healing, it's almost like the first layers are the easiest to let go of, because it's usually something so justified outside of yourself. But it's more long-term as you keep peeling back those layers, that those ones, it's almost like you get to the end till you get to the center, and it's like that core one is like the hardest to let go. And so that's what they kind of showed. It was like this dark part to me that needed to be let go, needed to be transmuted, needed to be thanked and blessed. But I couldn't deal with people. I really couldn't. And I was very sensitive, and my whole body just hurt. Because I was kind of going through this like death. I felt the soul being shredded, and I embrace those moments. But there's also another need to, when you start working with like shadow and like darker people, it's almost like you become numb to the pain, and that pain becomes comfortable. And I feel like that's kind of what this shredding of the soul kind of thing was. Because I'm not in that environment. I haven't been in that environment for a very long time. And so like finally Spirit's like, all right, we don't need this in our heart anymore. We don't need this, right? And so it had to be transmuted. So I didn't really want to share that in this video because I thought it would have taken way more to kind of share. But that's what came out, especially with this Kundalini Rising. And so I'm not saying like this is just me. I just wanted to share that part of my story to someone, because I do feel like quite a few people are going through the things. I feel like the solar flares have been pretty intense lately, and we're kind of coming up to my favorite time of year, the Lion's Gate portal. And whenever I think of the Lion's Gate, I think of Sekhmet, because she's cool and she's badass. Which is really good about like Orion and manifestation and all those kind of things. So I feel like that's why it was like, you have to let go of this darkness right now. And so I'm pretty damn sure I'm not the only one going through this. Actually, I'm positive. I've met so many people that I'm like, I know what they're kind of going through, but I'm not in the right environment to like say that stuff. But I see it. I see it in lots of people. There's lots of people who are Spirit's trying to shake out that last dark part that you don't need anymore. There was one part where you had to embrace it, and then now it's not relying on that. It's letting that go. Because now from that, I'm feeling really firm boundaries. So we're starting off with Kundalini Rising. And so ignite your passion for life. And what I'm getting is for people who've kind of gone through this, your third eye is so active right now. And the whole message of the other one was like bringing the Kundalini energy from the right, you've gone through the root, the safety, you feel safe and secure in all of this. So then you can go up into your passion and like your confidence into your heart. And so I feel like a Kundalini Rising isn't just like one chakra, it's going to be like all of them. So I feel like whenever this kind of happened, there was like this, they keep showing me as a shredder, a document being shredded, and then there's light pieces and dark pieces. And it's like these pieces can kind of go back, and some can be let go of, especially the baggage. But that's what I see is just all of a sudden since then, it's like your thoughts have been just going and going. You've been very creative. You have ideas. And then it's like, actually, wait, like that's actually really doable. And then it kind of has that spark, and it's like, but then we could do this. And then what? Oh my God, I never thought of it like that. And all of a sudden it's just like all that kind of going. And I'm getting lots of your guides. I feel like life is magical at this moment. The synchronicities are synchronizing, and it's just like life's really, really cool. And so with this open intuition, it says seek clarification. And so now as I look at it, he's got it in his palms, the eyes in his heart. What do we need to seek clarification on? Let me see this. So the Kundalini process, once it kind of like, what I'm seeing is like too much energy in the head. It's like fiery. And that's why you're like, you have these things and you're like, whoa, we could really do this. This could really be a thing. But I'm seeing too much fire. And so the clarification is, see here how the moons are like really, but when it comes to the wolf, I'm getting a lone wolf energy. And the only reason why it's a lone wolf energy is because in this process, like you kind of did it yourself. And that's really cool. They say you did it yourself, and you're learning to like cool things around you and change it and like kind of bring I almost just feel like it's almost too on fire, too intense. And so it's like bringing a little bit of coolness to it. And the coolness I'm getting is outside air. I say go outside and ground yourself a lot in nature. I'm just seeing like almost like at nighttime when it's just before bed, you know, and everything's just kind of like quiet and stuff. It's almost like having your like, I don't know if you have tea before bed or if you have a drink before bed, whatever it is, I just see like a quiet moment. And you know how it's just like the air kind of gets cool? I don't know, I'm picturing that, but how can you do that energetically when it's the middle of the day, it's already plus 30 degrees and it's hot? They're showing it as a pool within you. You have this oasis, this healing place. And so the energy is coming up through you very quickly. And so there is a need to kind of bring it back down. So I'm seeing even flow. Fire going up and then cooling waters going down. That's kind of what they're showing. An ebb and flow. And so I'm getting that you're going to get so many ideas in this time, and this time they just seem doable. Like write everything down. I don't know if you're getting dream downloads or if you're just getting inspiration or aha moments, your Eureka moments. Write those down because it might seem so silly at this moment, but I feel like someone's going to come to you and be like, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, I just wrote that down. Like, and then, I don't know, things are going to click. And so, yeah, I see it's going to be hot. Because especially once you kind of let go of that darkness and you kind of do that soul shredding thing, the 5D is coming in now. And it's almost like your energy is like, what are they showing? It's like dissipating. Like those things aren't your energy anymore. And I'm seeing things become lighter. And I don't know. It's just a new phase. I see the body transforming. The body is becoming stronger and healthier and more light, right? You're going to be more resilient. I feel the energy field expanding. And so it was really funny because it talked about the lone wolf in this. And then it talked about how you're going to have this within yourself. It's almost like, it's not even a dark night of the soul. It's like the Phoenix rising after moment. I guess it's a little bit of everything, but you're going to go through this process on your own. And then I heard you're going to go through this process. I know some people just really love their hermit mode, but I heard some people then, once they go through that process on their own, they're going to meet another who's gone through it on their own, and then they're going to go through it together. And that's going to be like the ultimate Kundalini Rising. So okay, I got a teensy bit more time. Okay, the card that came through is spiritual evolution. And look at all these colors, right? I kept talking about the fire, how the Kundalini was hot and how to like cool it down. But when I look here, the wolf is howling. It's almost like in you needs to come out. So I feel like not only is it like that fire up, healing waters down, I also feel like your breath could like release some of this fire. So here he is howling, right? Howling at the moon, but it's his voice, his energy coming out that has kind of like cooled it down. I'm seeing at like cold weathers when you talk and you can see like the mist of your breath. Anyways, so here's that blue, here's the blue, and he's letting it out. There's a little bit of blue energy here. And I feel like this is like tension in the body. Like it's going to be so intense with this awakening, especially with thoughts. And I feel like the crown chakra might feel like your head's on fire, or you might have headaches or something like that. So drink lots of water, things like that. Be nice to yourself. In that moment, like I couldn't be around people. As much as I wanted to be around them, I just couldn't. I had to sit in my own environment in total isolation, like no phone, no anything. And then, so anyways, there's blue. So I'm feeling like maybe there's a little bit of tension and things that might come in the shoulders, and it's like letting that go. And then there's like some of that blue in here. So as this one said, set your heart free. And I was drawn to the eye and the heart at the very beginning. This one says, seek clarification. So what about your heart in all of this and clarification needed? I want to pull one more. Oh man, Spirit's so funny. I was like, I really just need clarification on what this heart and this intuition is trying to say. And we got third eye vision. I'm getting the mind and the heart have often been on two different paths and had two different thought processes. But this time with the Kundalini, it's like too much fire and then that cooling and through that tempering phase, the mind and the heart, I see them finally for the first time agreeing on the same path. And so when you do this path, this one says reclaim your mind. I feel like when you finally do that and you kind of cool all that intense energy and ground it into something, this time the path is going to be very easy to go forward, they say. And I think in the past you might have had thoughts, but you didn't know where to start. I feel like from this, as it said, keep writing it down. Whatever your aha or insights and things like that, it's time to let the past go. It's time to let that dark part of you, if there's things and beliefs that you still kind of hold, but you don't need that energy anymore, Spirit's kind of like shaking it out of you. And so if you just haven't been feeling yourself around people, try isolation, right? Try to just sit under a tree and just listen to the birds for a bit. I feel like that is so simple, but it's so hard to do, right? Because this one said, third eye vision, reclaim your mind. I feel like there's so much energy coming up in this mind that to actually find that energy is the hard part. But you'll do it. You're going through an awakening right now, and there's like a new version of you coming. I don't want to say like version 2.0 because you've already gone through this process, and from like my experience, right, the first layers go and there's always new layers leaving, and those are so easy, right? It comes within time. But when you get to the very, very center of it, that one's the hardest. And so be gentle with yourself and take time for yourself. As I said, I was like, nope, I'm going to work, but everybody wanted my shift for some reason. And I see now that Spirit was trying to set me up so that I could not feel bad for missing work, because that's how I am. But for you, where are you on your journey? And is there a way that you can take more time and space for yourself? How's your stomach feeling? And what I found with that is I had to change my eating because the stomach energy, the stomach chi or whatever, wasn't really helping everything around it. It was like super taxed. And so I feel like simplicity in these moments are so necessary. So keep it simple, stupid. But there is this guardian energy coming, and what I'm getting is like, since your Kundalini kind of thing, maybe you might know that's what this is, or you might be like, what the heck is going on? Like, I just feel weird, I feel strange, I feel out of sorts. But I get like, since then it's kind of in this clear awakening, and you're getting a lot of messages from your guides. And so that's the best advice you can get. Of course your path is going to be clear going forward when you've got divine guidance and insights. So set your heart free. The heart free is like, I feel like that old part of you that is ready to be let go, because your heart is still healing from those moments, and it wants to release the past. So happy healing. I hope your heart gets everything it wants and deserves and so much more. And we'll leave it there. Have a good day. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.